Listen, sometimes it isn't a tone of one interaction that stands out. It's when you begin noticing similar behaviors repeating over time, like a comment here, a little tone there, a little reaction that seems a little familiar. And then suddenly your awareness begins asking like those deeper questions, like, is there a pattern? Is there something going on here? Welcome back, Divine Collective, to Oracle Rose Healing Tarot. I'm so glad you are here with me today. And I just want to let you know we're back here on my channel where we explore how spiritual awareness helps us to understand emotional and interpersonal dynamics with greater clarity. Okay. Often discernment grows gradually. That's not something you can just wake up with the next day. I mean, the Most High can do anything, but I'm just saying to get you ready, it's going to be gradual. Okay. And at first, something seems, simply sometimes stuff feels unusual to you. Then your awareness begins noticing certain behaviors or reactions that appear repeatedly. Okay. They repeat with the same people, they repeat in the same environments. And that's a message. And these messages are what we need to explore. And what they mean with your perception is recognizing what the patterns are and how that awareness can support your personal growth and emotional wisdom. Okay. All right. But before we begin, like, share, subscribe, and share this with someone who values emotional awareness and spiritual growth. Also, liking the video helps my channel to get out there in the algorithm. So please like the video. Please and thank you. These messages are general, so take what resonate and leave the rest for the universe to recycle. Okay. Now I've been shuffling. But as you know, before we even get started, I'm gonna go ahead and get my sound bowl out with the bear. I had noticed that in one of my playbacks, it's not as loud as I think it is, but I still just want to let you know that watch your ears because here comes the bell. I give thanks to the Most High Divine Spirit for being here, for surrounding us with healing energy and for guiding today's messages. And by the grace of the Most High and the Holy Spirit, this space is filled with love, peace, light, and all energies that do not serve our highest good are transmuted into love, healing, and renewing energy. Now let's step into this reading. All right, guys. So you see what we're going to be talking about is energy alert. You know when the words don't match the energy, but people want you to be gaslit. They want you to act like you don't see what it is or whatever it is. And we're not doing that. You keep hearing about it in these spiritual streets. I'm telling you, any of your favorite YouTube tarot readers are letting you know what's going on out here in these spiritual streets, and it's not good collective. All right, so you got to notice what's going on, and you got to be on guard, and you got to get your healing on the forefront, on the front line, so you don't fall back into South Node energy. Okay, so this reading is when the words and the energy don't match. We're going to ask collective to guide us through so that we can be better in our discernment and we don't waste time with these low lives. I mean, well, we're not going to call them that. Bless them. We're going to say the other ones, okay? So the first card out is going to be the pattern that's emerging through these spiritual streets. These guys are coming back in retrograde. This card reflects the moment when you're going to be aware of something collective. And so what came out, the first card out was the Seven of Swords. Wow. And we're talking about communication right out the gate. All right. This is going to be about somebody trying to be, trying to pull the wool over your eyes, maybe have a strategy, energy alert. And they're going to be really, really confident, but you are too, collective. Okay. As long as keep your plans to yourself. You know how they say keep your enemies close and keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. But don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. That's what this is right here. Okay. Now, you might even see similar comments that people are making, but they're appearing in different conversations, like repeated emotional reactions that people are having to anything that you're doing. Okay. And this first card out, that Seven of Swords, talking about communication. I'm not surprised. All right. You might be seeing that there's a growing perception around somebody doing the same thing over and over, you know, and your awareness may be recognizing the patterns in the communication and the behavior, whoever this person is. Okay. So you're on the right track. All right. Because you're using that technique called pattern observation collective, and that's good. That means your awareness is there and you're clear. All right. As long as you keep doing that, what you're going to be doing, you're going to notice that when you observe the repeated behavior patterns, that's going to help you develop clear insight into interpreting people. You're going to be reading them down for real. That's what it's about. They're going to be like, what? What's going on? How you know that? Of course, they're going to continue with the gaslighting attempts, but you're going to be too blessed for that, too aware. All right. And so the next card we're going to be asking spirit about is just understanding what it's all about, like understanding the context. Okay. Basically, the patterns that these people got, or even yourself in these situations, they come from many places, like personal stress. People got certain communication habits. They got that emotional throwback that they always bringing into the present. They might be going through something emotionally in their environment. But when you understand the context, what's behind these spiritual streets, and when we keep hearing about this energy out here that's stalking and trying to come back and spin the block, well, context is going to allow you, collective, to discern. All right. So let's just ask spirit how we can do that, and what energy can we do that, spirit. All right. And I know that was a lot, but we got the card quick. And what came out was the Page of Cups. Okay. So basically, what spirit is saying right here, you better get creative with it. Use a little bit of your magic. All right. And be loving about it. Do it in loving energy. All right. That's what that Page of Cups is about. Because this is what it's telling me, is that, collective, you got some awareness around the context of what people be on when they come into your energy, what they up to, and what their energy is like, what they kind of shape shifting into when they come around you, though. You know what I'm saying? However, this is telling me that you're looking at the situation bigger than what it is, and that's giving you a bigger perspective around these people. You're not looking at it small, you're looking at the bigger picture. All right. So that's good. That's that technique I call context reflection. And if you're already doing that, that just means that you consider the circumstances with helping you interpret what kind of interactions you should have with people more accurately. Okay. You don't want to just go in there with certain energy thinking it's going to turn out one way. You're going to be smarter about it because you already know how these people are when you come around them. Okay. However, knowing what they're doing is what every tarot reading on YouTube will tell you right now. But over here on this channel, we talk about how we participate in our own rescue. So the next card out is going to be about your role, collective, and personal awareness in this energy alert when somebody's words are not matching their energy. So we're going to ask Divine, what energy should collective be in, so we can make sure we're ready and on point when we're dealing with energy alerts like this, when the words and the energy is not matching. Okay. And what came out was I got to turn it upside sometimes, the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Now, Pentacles is about money, and I don't know why it's coming out in reverse, but it could be when somebody's trying to give you something, this for that, or they give you a gift as a threat. I had a friend, or if you can call her that, and she was bent on giving me a bag. And if you, like me, and you got African spirituality in the background, or even just certain things that we know about bags and giving bags, you don't give people bags unless it's gonna have some money in it. Her bag was empty. Of course, I passed the bag on to uh, a Goodwill. Let them sell it or whatever it is. But back to this. This is what this is telling me right here, that sometimes in this energy alert, even when somebody's trying to give you something that's a tricky gift, collective, you might even be projecting some personal assumptions. Somebody might just be trying to do something nice for you, but you might not even be used to that. I know how it is. You can go a long time like myself and not have people do nice things for you, and then all of a sudden they just all of a sudden cozying up to you. So this is making you look like it. Look at them a little more in scrutiny. However, it could just be you. And sometimes that internal expectation influence how you interpret people too. So watch out for that, collective, because I am very, very quick to do that sometimes. So the technique here is going to be self-reflection. Always check yourself. That's where you can control it. You can't control, nobody else can control you. Only you can control you. And how that's going to work, collective, that examining your reaction help clarify you. And being clear is the best thing you want to be. You want to be a clear channel so you can receive directly from the divine. All right. So, and basically just looking at this, you always say, yeah, the person's energy was off, but you got to remember too, if they're throwing words out there and you being obtuse, that just means that you might not be watching the patterns. So we need to know what these patterns are teaching us, okay? So we're going to ask the divine, most high spirit, what are these patterns trying to teach us in these interactions where the words and the energy is not matching? Please, divine, let us know. Let's see. I got too many. All right. Oh, all right. There it is. Jumped all on me. And temperance in reverse. Oh my goodness. Temperance in reverse. Mm-hmm. So basically, it's about conflict. You're not balanced. You're not in union. You know what I mean? And so basically, that's the pattern. And you know what patterns, they often reveal opportunities for growth though, in areas with communication with your loved ones, with your boundaries, where you need to get your patience in check, collective, or even just making sure your emotional understanding is up to par. Just recognizing the pattern is going to allow you to respond thoughtfully rather than just impulsively. Impulsive is not good energy. So this is coming out in reverse. And so this is what it's telling me is that, these repeating experiences may be going on in your life without reflection. So that's probably why the bumping heads is coming on and the balance is not there, you know? So basically, sometimes awareness transforms repeated experiences into a learning experience. And so you got to know that. And so as we are trying to seek balance with that temperance coming out in reverse, I would say the technique would always be to reflect with a question. You got to ask yourself, what can I gain from this pattern that keeps coming up with these people? You got to ask yourself, collective. I had to detach from people because there was just no way. What I was learning was that there was never going to be any change, and there was never going to be any stability, stabilizing between me and some people, and I just had to like back off. I'm just like, it's like, what they say, doing the same thing over and over expecting different results is probably called something else, but we're not diagnosing here, we're healing here. Okay. All right. And so basically just being reflective, that how that's going to work, it's going to convert your experience into wisdom. You're just going to be wise. You're going to know what it is. You're going to know what it is even when other people are not even paying attention. Okay. And you're going to be emotionally balanced. So we're going to ask spirit about that. What about the emotional balance, spirit? What can we expect on that end? What can we expect on the? Okay, let's see. All right, and so basically, a nine of swords came out. Hmm. So basically, when a nine of swords come out in the upright, it could be talking about that there is some, you know, anxiety, or you might be expecting terrible outcomes. You know what I'm saying? And so that might mess with you emotionally, collective, but you can't do that, because you got to maintain your emotional balance, because that's going to allow you to observe with clarity. You can't let nobody get you all shook up or frustrated or whatever it is. Nobody has the power to push your buttons. You are the captain of your ship. All right. So basically, just seeing this nine of swords in the upright right here, knowing that there could be some conflict or whatever's going on, this is just telling me that there's an opportunity for some constructive, you know, conversations between you and the people you love and the people that matter. You know, look at it like that, you know, because you want to make sure that you are communicating, because that can really shift what's going on between you and the next person. It can take you guys from never speaking to each other, not caring about each other, to clearing it all up. And then next thing you know, your nervous system and everything just follows. You know, you can have healing moments with others, you know. So that's great. That's a great thing to, you know, um, think about, you know. So, and that's the best thing. That's in good opinion, you know. Just making sure you can get clear understanding, you know. So I would say before I even get started, the technique would be like doing that, the whole breathing, that grounding. You got to ground daily. You got to always make sure that you're grounding your energy, so your inner adrenaline is not up, your emotions not all over the place, and your thoughts are not racing and running while you're trying to interact with somebody else. That's not a clear communicative channel. And you know, when you ground yourself, that slow breathing is going to restore your emotional balance. So that's going to help you get clear. Okay. And so then when you start communicating, it's not going to be a big deal, because asking about communication insight, the one one of swords came out. And so basically the ace of swords is basically just making sure you got mental clarity, what we were just talking about. You know, you having victory and success around knowing when somebody's words and energy is not matching. So you don't have to feel like you're being played, and you don't have to play yourself by not being aware of what's happening right in front of you. Okay. And you don't have to clarify with anyone but yourself. What's true to you and your experience is all that you need, collective. What works for you is what works for you in your healing. Okay, so remember that even when you're dealing with somebody. All right, because basically what this card is telling me right here is that, yeah, you're ready for it. You're ready for anybody who's going to walk up and have anything to say to you that you might have had a past with, and they thought you were the old collective, and you just like, no, I'm the healed collective. You're going to get this whole new energy, this unbothered. I'm not coming off my throne. You know what I mean? I'm going to stay in the energy of high vibration, because I see you clearly. I see you clearly. There's a lot of karmics out here that we have to, dodge. You know what I mean? And, a lot of times they be trying to act like they don't know what it is. But the technique that you can use for karmics who want to be in this whole, this for that type energy or flip flop energy, use some clarifying statements. That's what I always do. People always think I'm on some interrogation, but basically, no, I'm going to keep asking clarifying statements just so I can make sure you and I get to the same page. Now, if you got somebody who's giving you a hard time and they won't even try to clarify with you, like we clarify these cards, then you already know, collective. You don't need to be talking to them at all. All right. But when you're able to clarify, you know it's going to work, because clear communication supports mutual understanding between two people. And if somebody don't want to have mutual understanding with you, they're not divine like you. They're karmic all day. They might as well wear it on a shirt. I'm telling you, they might as well do that. Okay. So, but we're going to be healed and we're going to know, because the next card we're going to be asking Spirit about is about discernment and perspective. Okay. Because when the discernment grow, we're going to learn how to hold both awareness and patience. And ain't nobody going to get us in no unbothered state. So, how can we do that, Divine? Let us know, because we're healing over here and we're interested in ourselves. You know what I mean? Too many came out. I'm going to go back in the deck with those. But yeah, let's ask Divine, how can we have a better discernment and perspective? Wheel of Fortune, baby. Can't make that up. Thank you, Divine, for this card. You already know. This is your destiny. This is going forward. You know what I mean? This is success. This is luck. You know what I mean? This is, this is going with the flow. Going on, we in this good energy here. And what this is telling me is that we're going to have balanced discernment. All right. Because collective, if you're in this Wheel of Fortune energy, that means you're gonna be recognizing patterns that don't even require immediate like you coming up with what's going on, because you're gonna be so unbothered. Instead, you just gonna be sitting there looking at the person like, okay, I see you, I see what you're about, let's see where it's going. But it's not gonna have your energy all over the place. They're not gonna be pushing your buttons. Okay, you're gonna have balanced discernment. That's great. Okay. And with that patience, you're going to see them patterns because everything's going to become clear. It's going to clear up like the fog is lifting up. It's going to be like, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. And you're going to be like, how? I didn't see it before. That's because mental fog is real. All right. But what you can use is one of these techniques that I learned how to use dealing with Graves' disease was when I had mental fog really bad. And that was like a perspective pause. You know, a lot of times when your thoughts are just jumping on each other, your thoughts are racing and your mind is going. But if you just slow down sometimes and you just look at the perspective of what's going on in front of you, like what is this person really up to? Why am I even, engaging in this energy? Why didn't I stop them in the beginning? How long am I going to let this go on? You got to make decisions for yourself, because allowing time gives you uh time to think about what's going on in an interaction. It makes you clear. All right, and you don't feel like you just jump into conclusions. All right, and that's cool. But the next thing out we're going to be asking divine is about maintaining our energy, because that's what it's all about. The first time we get knocked off our square, our manifestations, they start to slow down. People do it to you intentionally too. It's a lot of witches and warlocks out here that know about energy, and they know how to knock you around because they see you peaceful and minding your business, and they don't like that. But discernment is going to also help you with deciding where to invest your emotional energy to collective. So we're going to ask Divine about that. Where can we be maintaining our energy, Divine? Let us know, because the collective is interested in healing, and I am too. So Divine said, keep it over here in a Six of Swords. Now, Six of Swords energy is just improvement, ending those difficulties between you and other people. Just shut it down. You take your sword and just cut it off. No, you don't have to explain it. You can just say, hey, healthy emotional boundaries. Chop, chop, chop. That's what this card is telling me. You know what I'm saying? And collective, this is also telling me you choosing where to focus the energy to. You got to stay balanced. You can't just let people take it and steal it and get you wrapped up in a fool's argument or a go nowhere entanglement of thoughts and emotions just so you are not able to manifest. And you're just sitting around wondering what happened to you. Okay? Use your energy for you. All right? And the technique that I always use when I think about it's an energy redirect, because what you got to do, you got to remember, you got to refocus your attention, restore your clarity, because wherever you focus your attention, wherever it goes, where you focus, that's where it grows. You got to remember that, and that is true, collective. Okay, but we're getting smarter on this healing journey, and our wisdom is developing, and I'm so happy for us at this point, because our discernment's getting good. We knowing how to recognize these patterns on these karmics and these warlocks and these demons out here and these non-humans. And it's becoming easier to recognize and interpret these shapeshifters and all that craziness that you hear through about all these karmic streets and spiritual streets. All right. So, but I'm gonna tell you, the experience with them, you gotta spar. So it's gonna build emotional intelligence. Don't start letting them people get to you, because you gotta remember, you divine, collective. No one has spiritual authority over you. Okay, and you gotta have confidence in understanding that, especially when you interact with these others. All right. So we're gonna be asking divine about our wisdom developing out here. We want to know what it's about. Divine, let us know what energy do we need to be in to make sure that our wisdom is developing and that we're staying in clear. And I had two jump down. Let me get that. And we're gonna go back in. I mean, these cards are And what came out was the Hermit. And I like it because you already know what the Hermit is about. The Hermit is about looking within for the answer. Okay? That's how you get your wisdom because it ain't outside of you. Thank you, Spirit. I can't make it up. And the ancestors say, yes, this is the truth. The wisdom, the best thing for you on your path, collective, is inside of you. You're going to have to go into hermit mode. All right. You're going to have to go into this is telling me that your wisdom is developing. You already know what it is. You already know. You can trust yourself. All right. Because you're going to understand that experience is going to strengthen you. It's going to strengthen your awareness. Okay. And you already know what I say. Write it down, keep it in a journal, put it in a discernment journal. That's my technique. Because sometimes when you go back and read over some of that free write too, I'm telling you, it's recording those experiences. It kind of strengthened the pattern recognition. You're not tripping. You ain't making it up. You're not like, wait, am I really thinking this? No, it's happening. It's happening. And what's happening in your life, the way you discern it, the way your perspective pick it up, is true to you, collective. Okay. And if it's not working for you, you heal yourself. All right. So the last card out on the tarot spread is going to be about spiritual insight. We're basically talking about our discernment being bringing us peace. Because basically, when you're aware, it replaces you being confused. Confusion comes from non-divine entities. I'm just going to say that. And so basically, we're going to stay in our spiritual insight. So I'm going to ask the divine what energy for the spiritual insight for our collective. And what came out was a Three of Wands in reverse. All right. So what this is telling me in reverse is that the clarity is going to still develop throughout. All right. You already know what Wands is about. Wands is about taking action and all of that. But coming out in the reverse, this Three of Wands, you may feel like you can get no progression with other people, but you got to remember everybody is on a healing journey at different stages in the journey. Okay. You may even be more healed than the person that you're trying to keep in spiritual insight around. And you got to remember, sometimes you got to move out of certain environments if they're still triggering you. That's an energy alert. Okay. Now, let me just tell you one of the techniques that help with this. Okay. Because this is just telling me that, you gotta let things grow gradually by reflecting on them. You're not gonna always notice patterns on the first try. If you did it, it's not a pattern. Okay. So it's gonna be gradual reflection going on. However, the only way you're gonna know about how to be able to pick up on it, you're gonna have to center yourself daily, collective. You're gonna have to make sure that you're doing like your regular reflection on things and making sure that you support uh being calm and balanced when you're thinking about stuff. Because if you're thinking about stuff and you're still mad and angry and it's long been over, you got bigger issues. All right. And I'm not going to say bigger issues that can't be helped, but it's a bigger issue that you need to recognize that you're still being hurt by what's going on. Okay. And that's not what you want. If you're healing, if it happened a while ago, it should still be affecting you today, especially if it's not one of those things that, is not devastating to life. Okay. All right. So the next deck that I put out, these are called What's the News. I wanted to use that about energy alert. We're going to be asking the divine to give us some examples on some things that we might have to look out for. And so basically here, the first card that jumped out was cleanse, detox, get rid of negativity, purification. Wow, talking about energy. Of course, we got to get that out of us first. And we got to get it out of our environments and away from where we're trying to grow, where we're reaping, where we're sowing, where we're trying to sow our energy. We got to have, good soil. So we got to make sure we're cleansing everything around us. Okay. Thank you, Divine, for that card. Let's see what else we can get out of here. Let's see what came out too next, recalling the memories when you be missing someone and reminiscing. Watch your energy around that collective, because if they're not good memories, you gotta be, you gotta be a guardian of your energy. One of the things that I noticed when listening to just regular tarot, the energy does not shift so quickly. So even if you're listening to your favorite tarot readers and they're being very accurate with energy by constantly moving the story along, okay? And the spirit is it's the same energy. It's the same karmics who still want you back. They're still doing moon magic. They're still doing the evil eye. There's nothing new under the sun, okay? But if you're always reminiscing it on the bad memories, all you're gonna do is just all that healing energy is gonna have to be transmuted again. Okay, so make sure you're being aware of that. Okay, collective. Thank you, Divine, for that card. Okay, what else? Let's see. Wow, I got two. All right. So Divine said when you sipping and you gossiping, or and I'm gonna tell you, certain things resonate and certain things don't. Okay. If these messages are resonating for you, hit the like button. Okay, and share the video and subscribe so you can get the next reading that we're going to do on healing. Okay, but think about it. If you get involved with people who spread rumors and being nosy and gossiping and all the time, that's one thing. It's one thing to sit down and have resonating messages that are resonating with your soul, but when you out here trying to listen to something that's going on in somebody else's life, collective, how's that going to help you other than if it's something that resonates for your healing? Make sure whatever you're spreading is good energy, okay? Because that's what we want to return. And then the next thing out was you got to remember too, I'm going to tell you guys, energy alert around anything legal, okay? Paperwork, anything. Don't let it get you uptight. You got to remember if the divine brought you to it, the divine will bring you through it. Also, when you think about court systems and all of that, I'm gonna tell you guys, read Psalms 112 so you can get some. If you really want to know, the divine got us covered on things like this. I'm telling you, go take a look. All right, and we're just gonna get one card out to just go ahead and close it out. A closing card on this energy alert reading, divine. Thank you for that. And what we got was love bombing. Oh my goodness. You already know it's that season, spring, it's not the hot guy girl summer yet. However, love bombing in the spring, it's still a little cool. Make sure you watch the ones who are just coming around with that love bombing energy, collective, because who needs that? We want it divine, we want it authentic. If we can't have it like that, keep it. Okay, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Divine collective. Remember now, discernment rarely appears all at once. So if you're not getting it the next day or whatever it is, come on now, give yourself more grace. It grows through observation. You got to reflect. You got to have the experiences too. So don't even be mad when you have those situations that come at you. Don't even let yourself get upset or bothered. Just take it as opportunities to grow this strength in you. Okay. Sometimes clarity is going to begin with one moment at a time anyway. All right. And then awareness begins after you start seeing patterns. So just remember that. Okay. And you got this, collective. You look what you're doing already. I am proud of you. Just remember here at Oracle Rose Healing Tarot, we are healing. This is where healing becomes you and you participate in your own rescue. Until next time, collective, I'll see ya.